So it's still lockdown here in Germany, and my everyday life for the past 3 months looked very boring, to say the least. Currently I have so much free time, like if I'm honest, I probably never have again in my life. I do not have to study for exams or write portfolios, I do not have to work in a daily job, and I do not have children who come around the corner every 2 minutes with a new work of art, for which I have to praise them as the loving father I would be. Oh, sweetie, that looks beautiful. The point is, there are so many things I would like to do more with my free time. All the free time I have now makes me feel pressure to use it for all the things I otherwise have less time for. The problem is, I quickly feel overwhelmed with all the possibilities I have, so much so that the whole thing tends to paralyze me and then I tend to do nothing. And here we are again, sitting in front of the computer, binge watching YouTube and senselessly scrolling through Instagram. So I made a plan. I created a timetable to get more structure into my everyday life. I wrote it down on a piece of paper and hung it on a wall where I could see it from every angle of my room. And full of motivation, I started into the new week. I went to sleep, set my alarm clock and looked forward to tomorrow morning. I turned off the phone night before and promised myself I wouldn't be allowed to use it again until noon the next day. And actually, it worked perfectly. I worked with concentration and did not distract myself. Feels good if something is working according to plan. It felt so good actually that I showed off my very mediocre dancing skills while cooking dinner. Sorry to bother you with that. But then happens what always happens. A very small unexpected thing occurs and throws me off track. It leads to fail the initial plan that I made for myself. As it is not possible to 100% hit the target anymore, my motivation goes way down. I become more and more careless about what my initial plan was. But yeah, life does not simply follow a strict simple plan. I had to notice that myself this week. The idea behind creating a plan with more structure came from the fact that I'm looking for my first job after graduation. This new stage of life also means a lot of unknown and insecurity. And typically me, I reacted as I always react. I just put off writing applications. Instead, I procrastinated while watching YouTube, Instagram, blah blah, you know the story. But since the money I put aside before the lockdown is getting short, it's getting more and more urgent to find a job. To work more effectively, I developed this daily structure to hopefully find a job faster. And here comes the funny part. I could have changed nothing this week and ended up with a job at the end of it. I had my very first job interview on Wednesday. I went there. It went pretty okay, I would say, but I did not expect to be selected, as there were other candidates with much more experience than I have. But completely unexpected, they picked me and called me right the day after my job interview. Like I said, life just does not always go according to plan. I'm a bit of a perfectionist, and if only one little thing goes differently than I planned it, it demotivates me to keep going. Often, and that's a really big problem, I don't even start at all, because I know that something along the way will come up. Well, I understood a bit more this week that it's not so much about doing something perfectly, but often just about starting doing it. It doesn't always have to be perfect. And also the fear of the unknown decreases in just starting, and in doing so, orientating yourself in a before unfamiliar field. Funnily enough, the application for the job I got accepted for was the very first one I ever wrote. I need to realize a bit more that sometimes just starting is all you need, and the rest is simply decided along the way. Sometimes it takes longer, sometimes shorter. But one thing is for sure, the thing called life will never go 100% according to plan.